All right, welcome back. we're Today we're going to work on getting the cylinders and pistons on and checking squish band. So we'll probably just do one cylinder on camera. This right here is just it's not junk. It's an old cylinder off the '07 bike. I'm just using it to keep the rod from flopping around because I have to actually whip the motor over to bounce the piston off the lead solder stuff that I put on there to check for squish. So stick around. Apologize for the camera angle as always. I'm always in the way, but I'm in a really small area here. I don't have a lot of room, so bear with me. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. It's always an adventure. We'll be using solder and use a little bit of red grease to gob it on there with. It's good times. All right. All right, several things I want to check. Check my R, my rear cylinder. The R, the intake pocket is to the inside of the engine. Verify that my wrist pin comes out this direction. Okay, because this side I'm going to be working on. That's where this stuff gets really fun. Takes like 5 hands. Real fun. All right. Okay, over here I got I usually use a little bit of copper gasket sealer. It's spray adhesive on these. Works pretty good, seals them up. I haven't really had any leaks, so it works good for me. Go ahead and get that base gasket on there. Now, I think you can special order different thicknesses of base gaskets, but I'm not going to do it because I measured with my calipers. This is not even a multi-layer steel. It's just a steel Cometic base gasket versus the like the OEM style paper gaskets, and they both measure the same. So trying to adjust the squish band, really I can't unless I go and buy different thicknesses of base gaskets, and I most certainly am not going to double them up because that's way too far out of range. But let's get a little bit of slippery stuff in places we need it. This pin bore and the rod, get some assembly lube in there. Okay, this stuff's really love cold, all stringy and shit. Okay, piston, this side, have to get that from the other side. Oh goodness, there we go. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I need to get this over. This is usually the tricky part, trying to tuck it over. There we go. Get the rod up in there. Hold that thing. Get the wrist pin in it. Make sure it's in all the way. All right. So, next step, real important. Get you some rags. Let me grab a rag. So when I'm fooling around trying to put one of these circlips in, you never want to risk dropping it down in the engine. So You want to definitely tuck some rags around here where that clip flat cannot go down in that engine, okay? There you go. Keep that clip from going in there. And you thought these things were fun putting one of them on the bench. It's even better on the bike here. So, let me get my seat ready. Down here. Yeah, this is an exercise in right and left-handedness. I can tell you that. Get that guy in there like so. You know, a little bit more this way. And again, this is probably one of the least favorite things I could be doing to any kind of vehicle is doing this shit right here. These rings are always a pain in the ass. This one, you think you got it in there, you may not. Okay, now I like to take a look, make sure that thing's popped in that groove all the way around. Looks like it. Okay, I'm going to take a flat blade screwdriver where I can't really tear anything up and just verify it. Push on it, make sure it's done. Okay, now we can remove the rag, gasket. All right, now we can send her home. You just kind of twist and wiggle it a little bit. You guys can see that, okay? Getting down in the hole there. There it is. Okay. Let me rearrange this camera angle here so you guys can see what I'm doing, okay? Hopefully I'm not in your way too much. So, while the piston's up, stroke this, just make sure everything's okay. All right. Oh yeah, we're down in the hole a little bit. We might actually be in good shape on this one. You definitely don't want your squish band too tight. Okay. Next thing I want to do is take a look at the cylinder head. And you guys can see, hopefully you can see the 30-degree angle here and here. So I want to place pieces of solder here and here on a dab of grease so that when I whip the piston up, it'll hit the cylinder head, the solder will, and I can measure those and see what kind of a thickness I got there. All right, so I'll take my grease, put some dabs, put one right here in the middle, right there. It's a bit much. All right. The worst part about it being cold out is this stuff's stringy. Oh my God, it's stringy. Put one here. Okay. And put one here. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This stuff takes a lot of time and preparation, but it's really worth it in the end. And you can't, you know, unless you're, well, there's no excuse for not doing this stuff, honestly. It doesn't matter how big of a hurry you're in or what race you got to make it to or anything like that. Sometimes, if you just can't do it right, you need to tap out and wait for the next race. So, and trust me, I've done a lot of that in the last year. with the other bike. Firstly, waiting on parts, and secondly, making sure this stuff is done right. Okay, so we'll clip some pieces of solder here. Okay, stick it here. Now make sure it's up away from the edge of the bore there. Okay. Sorry for the shaking, guys. It's a little cold out here. I'm running a tiny little heater, but it's better than nothing, but it ain't ideal. Okay, there we go. That's even better. I mean, I'm sure you guys could use clay or Play-Doh or anything like that. I wouldn't recommend Play-Doh, but you can use clay or anything like that. Put that one there. Okay. Again, we'll get 3 more here. But yeah, I definitely recommend you guys, if you're doing a high performance build. Now there's a lot of situations where you can get away with not doing this, but usually when you had your cylinder head chambers reconfigured for something like this, you definitely need to verify this stuff, okay? All right, now, next thing we're going to do. Now, typically, I will spray my gaskets with the copper stuff, but we are going to be taking this back apart, so I'm not going to be doing that yet, because we do have to take it back apart to remove the lead. So get our little dowel pins in there. Okay. Set the head gasket on. Okay. Yeah. And then we will set this here cylinder head on. You gotta be careful not to hit that. There we go. Okay. I should set there. All right. Now, we'll go ahead and throw these here head bolts in it. And you do have to torque these down to the spec in order to, well, shit, I screwed up. Guys, I'm sorry. I actually have to move this piston before I go doing this. I already screwed up. Hopefully that didn't hit them yet. Nope, okay. All right, so before I go doing any of that, I need to take this down, okay? And then I'm gonna get it on its way back up, about halfway up, okay, about right there. Because what I gotta do is I gotta whip it to get it headed up in the direction I'm going with it, okay? It should have been a dead giveaway, me worried about hitting that stuff. All right, try this again. This is the not so interesting, tedious part right here. Bring the head bolts down. All right, so I got my specs. Starts out at 9, 14, 22, 35, and then a final torque of 42. Now mine only goes down to 10, so we're starting at 10 foot-pounds. Okay. There's that one. There's that one. Seems like I just did this stuff on the 07 bike. And I did. There's that one. And there's that one. Now we got to go to 14. Okay. There's 14. 15. Okay. There's that. All right. 22. That would be 22. I'm going to go to 35. There's 30, 34, 5. Okay. All right, 35. Final torque value, 42 foot-pounds. All right. All right. Uh-oh. Well, that might be a problem. That one's not torquing down. It's either pulling or stripping or something. Yep, that's the end of it. Not sure what happened here, but hopefully it did not hurt the stud. That's weird. That is weird. Well, times like this, I guess we'll try a different bolt, right? See what happens. Well, I'd say we got something going on with that stud there. So I'm going to go ahead and whip this around so you guys can see. But clearly I'm going to have to pull this back apart because there's something very bad wrong with that stud right there. All right. Something definitely wrong with that stud. Bolt. Definitely not the bolt. Well, that's too bad. I was really not wanting to deal with a screwed up stud. Looks like I ain't got much of a choice, do I? Oh, come on, man. Because if I had to tear this all the way down and change the cases over a stud pulling out or something, which is what I'm fearing that I got going on here, that's going to be a major setback. All right, pull this head off. All right, all of our lead stuck to the head. That's good news. We'll get to that here in a minute. Bring this thing back up. All right. Oh yeah, stud's pulling out of the case. There's some good news. Okay. Get that grease cleaned off of there. Yep. There's that. You guys can clearly see this stud pulling right up out of the cases. Yep. Look. Well, let's go ahead and bring her up so we can see. And again, try not to pull that piston clear out of the hole. There we go. All right. Yeah, it pulled the threads out of the case. Okay, so I got a couple options here, I guess. I could try to cover everything up with tape real good and drill and put a thread sert in there, but there's really no way to get that straight. So it looks like I'm going to be tearing the entire engine back down to fix that. So, changing cases yet again. Boy howdy. Boy howdy. Okay, Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our let's go ahead and take a look at our solder here real quick. There we go. All right, so we really want our minimum to be 30 thousandths. That's what we're shooting for here. So you basically just take these pieces of solder, if I can get a hold of it, my fat fingers here. All right, I got about 36 on that one. It's good. 36. $35. Almost 40 there. $38. And 36. So we're in good shape there. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and start over with this engine build. Simply because of that stud pulling out of there. And to be quite honest with y'all, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. I'm not sure exactly what I need to do about that, but I guess we can go ahead and reverse engineer this thing and get it back out of there. Shame on me for not looking at these cases a little bit better. I found some other problems, but I was kind of able to work through them, so it wasn't that big a deal. But ouch, there we go. Got that out of there. Push the pin back out. He's out of there. All right. Put this thing back to sleep. And not sure what in the hell I'm gonna do about that. I really ain't. Get that gasket back off of there before that stuff really sets up good. That copper spray. I don't know if I should go ahead and try to torque a head down on the front cylinder to see if any of those are going to pull or not either, just to make sure, but yeah, it's pulled it right up out of there. Well, I guess. Stuff all these holes slap full of stuff before I even start screwing with it. Have to get some tape or something to go with that. Well, that tape ain't wanting to stick. It's old as shit anyway. Yeah, I don't suppose I can do any more harm to this than what already is, but I ain't wanting to turn either. I'm gonna have to get my hands on a couple of nuts, I guess. 3/8. That ain't even wanting to budge like that, is it? There it goes. Yeah, boy. Straight pulled that meat right out of there. And I think I can probably get most of this off of the stud. It's all aluminum coming right off. But it most definitely pulled the threads right up out of the case. Pulled them right up out of there. Sure did. There we go. There's what's left of the threads out of the case. Appears to be 3/8 16 thread, just like the top. Now I'm going to have to do some serious thinking on this, and I mean, I think I've got room to get a drill in here. I can definitely put a helicoil in that. But prep work is everything. to keep them shavings out of the engine. So I'm gonna have to buy me a nice new roll of duct tape that'll stick, get all this bagged up, covered up. So I'm probably not going to video that, so I'll leave it here. You guys get the gist of checking your squish band. Hopefully nothing happens to the front studs. I'll get this fixed, and then we'll proceed with setting up top dead center, timing your static timing your ignition, indicating it in, and all that other stuff, and some of the other things we got to do. I want to do this with you guys from bottom to top, you know. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. Have a good day.